Hello and welcome to Awaken the Truth Within with Zoey Gold. Let's talk about business today, peak performance in business and business results. And especially for who I call passionpreneurs, entrepreneurs who are in business of passion, especially coaches, consultants, speakers, writers, authors, artists, etc. Plus, this may apply to more traditional businesses as well, entrepreneurs and service providers. Well, first of all, it's good to know that there are three types of, business owners, or three types of approach that is actually natural to you, approach towards business. So there is a type of a person who is more entrepreneurial type. So there is an entrepreneur. These are business owners. These are ruthless people, and by ruthless, it's they're just straightforward. They know what they want, they go for it, and nothing really stops them. And when some people watch them from the outside, it sometimes can even see as ruthless. Maybe sometimes it may even see that they don't really care, that they just go for it and they make things done. So that's the first type. The second type is artist. So this is something that is actually how you're wired within. So it is, and most of passionpreneurs are artists. They create, they flow, they want to help people, they care, they create different products, they want to help people release their troubles, their stress, their challenges, their problems. Artists, they create, they flow. And the third type is a manager. So it's like the way, again, as I said, the way you operate in the business and at workplace and whatever you do. It's a manager. So the manager is really good managing people, having the work done, managing teams, making sure that everything is done on time, that the projects are done on time, that everything moves along the timeline. So they're really, really good managers. Now, what happens often working with people, I can see it, that coaches, authors, writers, most of consultants, people who are in this business of passion, they were so passionate about it. They came here because they wanted to help. They wanted to change the world. They wanted to create the difference. They wanted to bring happiness to their clients and joy and better life and lifestyle. Most of them are artists. And if you operate a large corporation, a large business, you probably need an entrepreneur or entrepreneurial type of personalities. They are artists, managers working and collaborating together. But if we're talking about a smaller business, let's say if you're the only person in your company, or you're the owner and you have a few assistants and people that you hire from time to time for different projects, that's kind of, a little bit a different situation. And what I see is that, let's say, coaches or passionpreneurs, they fall into the category of artists. And then they wonder what's going on and why they cannot really break through and go forward and just be what others may seem as ruthless and tough, like those gladiators that just go for what they want, as entrepreneurs would do. So a business owner who is an entrepreneur is really hardcore, business owner, entrepreneur. And artists, they care. Now, this is all beautiful, and you can develop different aspects in you, different, like, for example, even if your nature is more inclined towards being an artist, you can develop an entrepreneurial part as well, and you can also develop a manager part as well, even though that your core is inclined towards being an artist. Now, what usually happens, again, is what I see is these beautiful souls, these artists, these coaches and authors who come from this beautiful perspective that I chose this business because it's heartfelt, because it's kind, it's warm, it's beautiful, it can change lives, and that's why I'm here. Now, when they mix that approach with some of their inner conflicts, inner entanglements, and self-imposed rules about particular areas, and they also, which is basically data, and they also operate and add to all that mix and that pod fears, and they have this deep care and this kind personality and this desire to help the world, and they mix fears and they mix inner entanglements, and they really want to be good. They really, and I'm not saying this is bad, I'm just saying that they really want to be good, but they have particular rules that they gathered throughout their physical path, different beliefs about what that would mean to be good. Because what I see is sometimes some coaches, when they ask for a particular amount of money for their services, they feel that they're betraying the other person. They care, what if this person will not have money at the end of the month to pay for their rent if they pay me? That's not how the hardcore entrepreneur salesperson does his or her phone call when they do that. So I just want you to understand that. Plus also all that data and all those fears, they creep in, and then these artistic type entrepreneurs, they feel less certainty, right? And what is money? Money is an idea backed up by certainty. So with all those fears, with all that beautiful care, plus all the desire to be good and different rules about what it means to be good or not, and some of those rules are not beneficial at all, and some of them are false, some of them are limiting, some of them are holding them back, plus all those inner entanglements and all the data. So they have less certainty when they meet clients, less certainty when they think about their business, because it hasn't been working for a while, they cannot figure out why. And then because there are those rules that be about being good and doing good and all that, and I'm not saying this is bad, I'm just talking about that stuff that is false and that is actually limiting you. I'm not talking about something that is beneficial and something that is actually truth. So they feel less certain when they have the business conversations, when they have conversations with their client. They feel from time to time, am I good enough? Who am I to do this? To to coach, to teach, to write books? Who am I? I don't know how, I've tried everything, but it's not working. And I thought this beautiful business of passion was where I will be sitting and meditating and feeling good and everything will just fall into place. While yes, it is true when you really understand what stands behind it, but it is also about aligning yourself for that peak performance, getting in the zone, and then the 20%, which is your skills, your knowledge, some learning gap that you need to close, and your actions that are effective, specific, certain, inspired, but they're still there. And they have to be very precise, they have to be business oriented, and they have to be tough sometimes. And it is that another part of personality, the entrepreneurial part of personality that you can wake up in you, right? So they don't know, how are my services good enough? How can I, this question, how can I help the person if like, for example, how can I help the person be in a good relationship if I don't have one? Or how can I, Of course, first of all, you have to be very, very, very skilled if you're working with people. But there is another part to it. It's these inner entanglements, because I've met people who are really good at what they do. Like, I mean, really good. They are trained to the best that they could be. And of course, there is always room for improvement, but they're really good. They are above, I would say, 90% of people who are in the field. They are talented. So it's not just the learned skills. This is something that was given them as a gift. But because of those inner beliefs, because of those inner entanglements, because of those rules, they are not sure. Who am I to do this? Who am I to teach this? What can I do? Can I really help? Can I do this? Etc. And all of that uncertainty within, plus all of that, artistic personality type, and all of that care, and all of those self-imposed rules about what does it mean to be good towards yourself, towards others, and all that stuff mixed together takes away that certainty. And therefore, it feels like they cannot break through. While others who are, in most cases, I would say, helping, some are helping, some are maybe not, but anyways, we're not going to go there. But those services that just say we will help the coaches to get more clients, we will brand you, and don't get me wrong, there are amazing companies out there that will really help, that bring the knowledge that coaches need and service providers need, and they are amazing, and they are doing the best that they can. But still, look at that perspective, even from the best companies out there. It's that perspective, and especially the companies that it's working for them. They're going straight like an arrow. Nothing, like those entanglements are not even bothering many people. Especially those that I'm talking about, that entrepreneurial personality type. Right? And I'm not saying they do not care. They do. Many of them do. They're magnificent, amazing people. But the data in them, the way they're wired, operates a little bit differently. They do not have those rules that when I am charging the client, I'm betraying the client. They do not have those rules like, who am I to do this? Maybe somebody else is better, so they should be doing. No, they are wired in a way, and again, it's all data, to go forward. Like, I know I'm the best. I know I can do it. I know I can charge anything I want for this particular service. And, I've met people whose services really help other people, like really help, and they question it because of that data in them. They question it. But what if it doesn't help 100%? What if they buy my service, but it doesn't deliver them the results that they want? Like, for example, I met somebody who was in book publishing, right? And they were like, I know that's an amazing idea to help people to publish their books, etc. But I also feel like even if I do help them, they are coming to me because they want to become a millionaire by writing a book. But I know that even if they write a book, they will not become a millionaire, or some of them might, right? But it's not the way of where leading, and the person feels like they're, like they're doing the disservice. While the other person in the same field, let's say, for example, as I took it, as book publishing, just goes for it. And that second person may have even not as good services as the first one, because the first one will do really good job in editing, and because I know who I'm talking about, in putting the beautiful cover, like by really taking care of the client and making sure that the sales of the book go smoothly and the client gets all the royalties and all that stuff. Well, the other, and I'm just giving it as an example, might not even have half of those services, but the other one is sure. Like, I will charge twice as much. This is how we go. And that person doesn't even think whether the person who writes the book will get any money from it or not. And this was just an example, okay? We can go into any industry and look at any service provider, any business. My point here is that some people, because they gathered particular data, this data is stopping them because it's adding fears, it's adding rules that are not working, that are not beneficial, that's adding limiting beliefs, that is taking away the certainty, and the person feels weak. The person doesn't know what to do. The person knows how to create, wants to help, and is stuck. While the other person, for whatever reason, is wired in a different way, gathered a different data that does not have those rules. Maybe that person has particular rules that do not work, maybe in another area of their life, like in a relationship or I don't know, friendship or other stuff. I'm not going into specific examples, but I'm just in general. That person does not have that data, does not have those rules about what does it mean. Like, they have completely different rules about what does it mean to be good. Because within us, we all know we are good. So we are inclined towards that. But they have different rules towards that. They have different beliefs. They have different level of certainty. So they go and they do. And they may seem ruthless by people who watch them from the outside. Okay, so the point here, if there is that data that is stopping you, that is preventing you, then find a way to let it go. To let go, because all of that is data. Because within you, deep within you, your spiritual DNA is perfect. You are a magnificent divine being, as well as anybody else on this planet. That is your core. That is your true essence. So when you really embrace that, you can let go of data, let God, let who you truly are operate through you, and embrace the business side. Embrace the money side. Embrace your worthiness. Embrace the goodness of who you really are. Embrace the goodness of your services and things that you do. Embrace an entrepreneur in you, because even if you're an artist and when your business grows, you can hire a good entrepreneur to be a CEO and for other roles and positions in the company. But right now, if you don't have that opportunity, you can develop that entrepreneur in you. You can develop that gladiator in you. And what helps is actually stepping into your true power. Knowing who you really are and releasing those inner entanglements, inner rules, the data that is stopping and preventing you from getting where you want to go, that's taking away your certainty, and that is not who you are. So when you truly step into who you truly are, when you truly find the freedom of who you truly are, then you will go with certainty. You will go for what you want, knowing your goodness, knowing the goodness of your services, knowing that you do a disservice by charging less, because people who pay less, usually they treat it as a cheaper product, so they don't really care. When you're not sure whether your services are good enough for your customer when you're talking to your potential client on the phone, and you bring that doubt and the customer feels it and leaves, you do the disservice to that person, because otherwise, if they bought your service, if they stayed, they could have changed their lives, because you have something special to offer them. You have the gift, you have the skills, you could have helped that person. But because of that inner fear, whatever that is, because of that doubt, you let that person go. And that person might pay 5 times more to the person who is less skilled than you in the next 3 days, just because that person didn't have those rules, didn't have those inner entanglements, didn't care that much. And here I'm not talking about real caring from soul to soul, from spirit to spirit. I'm talking about data, learned stuff. Learned stuff that you learned watching your parents, and sometimes they operated from data. Watching the movies, and sometimes those people who created those movies and put those ideas there, they operated from data. Learned it from your teachers who maybe meant well, but they were also operating from data. Learn from past experiences that maybe served you in the past, but are not serving you anymore. That's what I'm talking about. The stuff that is false, that is not real, that is holding you back and taking away from you. What does it take away from you? You living the expression of your soul here and now. You sharing the gifts that were given to you by God with the world because of some stuff in you that gives you fear, that takes away the certainty, that does not allow you to shine through and to live to your fullest. So I hope this was helpful for you today. Embrace you. Love you, embrace your gifts, cherish them, be grateful for them, embrace the artist in you, embrace the entrepreneur in you, and if you need to, embrace the manager in you. Why not? And someday you will be able, if that's what you want, to hire a good manager. If you don't want to fulfill that role anymore, to hire an entrepreneur if you don't want to fulfill that role anymore. But you will know how to manage them properly because you also developed those sides in you. And now, just step into who you really are. Just embrace this magnificent in you. Love what is. Love where you are. Love where you came from. Love where you are going. And go for it. If your heart is telling you this is it, go for it. Because within you, you know that's yours. That's for you. So have an amazing, amazing day. And I will talk to you in our next podcast. Bye now.